Welcome back to another episode of The Ultimate Client Strategy. I'm Lisa Rosenthal, and this is my partner, Bruce Libman, and we are joined today by a dear friend and colleague, Neil Himmelstein, from the Main Street Planning Group. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you.
So good to have you here. Both Bruce and I have been guests on your radio show, and we'll get into that in a minute, but it's really nice to have you here
Thank you.
On our new podcast.
Glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Great. Would you share with everybody before we get started just a little bit more about your business and what you do?
I'm an independent wholesaler of insurance companies representing life, annuities, disability, long-term care, and life settlements for those whose policies they can't afford anymore or they've outlived their insurance and they just want to get some value out of it instead of letting it go to waste. I help hundreds of advisors across the United States with insurance planning, being independent. I give independent advice and solutions to insurance agents, to attorneys, to accountants in helping people with their financial future, whether that's providing an income for life, long-term care needs, life insurance. These are the areas I specialize in and aid and abet getting the correct policies for people.
I often tell people that if Neil can't write it, it can't be written. You're the guy, right? You're the go-to. You're the person when nobody can figure it out, when it's complex and difficult and challenging, you're the guy that gets it done.
Well, thank you. That's what I like to do. I like a challenge in life.
And you're good at it. You're really good at
Thank
it.
you.
So Bruce, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, aside from what Neil does as far as helping people, helping agents, all right, get the work done, he educates extremely well. So give me a little bit of background, all right, about your feeling about educating agents in the insurance agencies.
If this job didn't change every day, if it wasn't educational in its very nature, I would not be in it. I like the challenge. I think it's important to give the best solutions for people. The problem today is, a lot of people are indoctrinated in, let's say, a career system where they're taught one way of doing things. And that's not always the best way for the client. And I'm client-driven, not product-driven. I'm solution-driven for the client. So whatever the best solution is, I could care what company it is. As long as the company is solid, is going to pay its claims, is do what it's going to say it's going to do, and you can have somebody to service that business, that's the best route to take. So I think education is very important. We're finding as laws change, as taxes change, new strategies have to be taken in all the time. So that's what keeps me excited and engaged.
You taught me something. I'm sorry, Bruce. I just want to remind Neil, you taught me that not all people with diabetes are uninsurable.
That's true.
And it was a big awakening for me.
Yes. Well, actually, diabetes is interesting because we've learned type 2 diabetes under control, there's never an issue. Actually, people with diabetes and even type 1 diabetes, like someone we know, you learn control. You have better eating habits. You have better health habits. And those get credited rather than detract from getting offers on insurance. Insurance is funny because it works by credits and debits, and people don't understand that. A true insurance company that's going to evaluate somebody for their life insurance not only looks at their medicines and their health, but they look at how they take care of their health, how they eating habits, physical activity, community work, all goes into helping them, education, helping them get better offers and maybe get coverage where others wouldn't get coverage.
Really remarkable. So it's not a black and white answer anymore.
No, but the insurance companies are trying to make it black and white by going AI. So that's the challenge we face today, is insurance companies would like it to be black or white, and that's it, accept or reject. But we have to constantly be different, and I hate to say old school, but we have to go into somebody's true background to really get the best offers out there.
Well, it's still for and involves people, and people matter most. And
Exactly.
it can't be black and white because we're all different.
Exactly. Everybody's different, and everything's evolving. So,
Right.
you can't rely on a computer to make a decision about someone's life.
Bruce?
I think that's the greatest challenge, the constant changing of the business. I mean, for many years, it just was what it is, all right? Many years, right? But lately, no, it is. And that's your challenge, is to go with the changes.
Absolutely.
And I know sometimes you fight the changes, too, to try to support the client.
Yes. People are not even being taught in this industry the right way. They're taught volume. They're not talking people. They're taught it's about transactions. It's not about transactions.
Yeah.
It's about finding solutions for people. It's not about how many people you throw up against the wall. It's not the way it goes. So the industry is training people to be robots, and they're training robots to be computers. And they forgot that this business doesn't exist if it wasn't for people. So it is a challenge, and it's across every industry. It's not just the insurance industry. It's industry-wide that people have forgotten about people. And I compare it to a doctor's office now. You call and you have a question about your medical report, and you don't get a call back. And you call again, and you don't get a call back. And you say to yourself, well, they must not be a good doctor. They could be great doctors, but if they're not good communicators, they're not good doctors to me. It goes for plumbers. It goes for any service person. We're all in the hospitality business. And that seems to have been forgotten, and I think that we have to get back to being in the hospitality business. That's what makes us special, unique, and valuable to other people.
Yeah, the human side of the business, all right. And it's true, even when I was in the industry, that's not what they cared about. They just cared about the numbers, all right. Put up the numbers, didn't make a difference to them on the human side, all right. Which is, to me, a great loss, all right.
Absolutely.
And I think that ends many people who could have been successful in the industry fall out of the industry, all right, because they're not looking at the human side of people.
Right.
At all right. But there was something that happened in your career, all right, that just made you turn to be able to be the asset that you are today, all right. What do you think that was?
I think what made it turn for me when I first got in the industry was realizing that I make a difference in people's lives. And I was broke when I started in the industry, and my son, there was a career fair, I'll never forget it, and my son was in 5th grade, and I helped put the career fair on, basically, and the kids were all given assignments to go to the different businesses and ask them questions and do a little report. Well, my son came to me and said, Dad, what do you do for a living? Everybody's handing out pens and papers. And I very seriously said to him, son, I make a difference in people's lives. I'm not a doctor. I can't heal you physically, but I'm going to make sure you and your sister go to college. And if anything ever happens to me, our family is going to be protected. And the net result was he went home and told Mom, and I won 2 wins that day. I've never been so proud of Dad. That was big. And it brings a tear when I tell this story because I was not in a good place. That was really the difference maker in my whole career.
That's remarkable.
It really is.
That's remarkable.
But, that's your commitment. And I think people see that. They feel it. All right. Because it's your what you do on a daily basis. All right. Because you're in constant. Your phone is always ringing. Your emails will always ring.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Now, you've done some other work in the industry, right? So you don't stay a secret, right? Tell us about some of the other values that you put to the industry.
I was president of NAFA in Suffolk County many years back. I was committed to putting on programs I always like to bring on educational programs and educate other advisors as to the latest things going on. I think it's important to be loyal to your industry, and then your industry is good to you. There are many things in the life insurance industry in particular that are very impactful, and I think it's important to be involved in the government aspect of it, particularly in the state of New York. Life insurance has this unique quality of being tax-free. Okay, it's tax-free, it grows tax-free, and it's protected. It's only protected because, when the government's looking for money, they go after every industry. It's only protected by serving your industry. And for 200 years, having people go to the government and say, hey, this is what you have to protect. So that's very important in this base element. And then the government has problems right now that the insurance industry can help with. One of them is Medicaid is one of the largest expenses that the government has. And Medicaid is when people impoverish themselves to take care of themselves for long-term care. We have a longevity risk right now like we've never had. People are living longer, people that are living, and they may not be living their best lives because they're impacted by they can't feed themselves or they're having mental decline, but they still are living. And eventually, if they don't protect themselves with insurance, the government has to come in and somehow protect them. And the government spends their money, whether it's the state and federal. Well, basically, the insurance companies tried to do this on their own, or with some government help at one point, by having a product which they priced wrong, which was not right. They didn't figure out the longevity risk that was available at the time. At the time, the longevity risk was not there. So these insurance companies had to leave or go out of business. So you're left with a couple companies still in business, and you're left with the government with still this problem, and they want to do it the cheapest way possible or not use it. So there has to be a coming of the minds between either insurance carriers and the government as to how we can help solve this problem, or we're all going to be impoverished and living like crap when we're older. So that's still a problem and still not going in the right direction. And part of me being involved is to help create that combination of the government and the insurance industry on how we can resolve this issue. And again, it's a solution, not a product. I always say that. There needs to be a partnership between government and the insurance industry on how to solve this problem, similar to the health insurance problem that we have right now.
Oh, yeah. And look, there's less money coming in, too. The whole theory of Social Security and Medicare and so forth, all right, in the years that the population was higher than it is today, more babies are being born and so forth and so on, all right? So there was always more cash coming in. Now there's less cash coming in. Less
More
people
going out.
That's right, more going out. So adjustments have to be made somewhere, all right?
So,
unfortunately.
I just, Neil, what you do is, I'm sure some days very difficult, right? When you're helping people exercise those policies, right? Because somebody's passed. But also, being able to witness the value of what that policy brought to that family, the protection, right? Kids can still go to college, houses don't have to be sold. There's, no doubt some satisfaction, like you said, you impact people's lives significantly. But I would also suspect that some days are heavy, right? It's hard. So what do you do for fun? What else makes you smile?
Well, my kids make me smile, that's for sure. I love to fish with my kids. I love to hang out with my kids. As they grow older, I hope that we can all engage and have fun together. So
That's awesome. I know how important your family is to you. Do you have any other hobbies? I didn't know you fish, so that's nice to hear.
yeah, I like to fish. I play chess. I play a lot of chess. Since COVID, I play virtual chess with people all over the world, which is interesting. Yeah. now I'm stuck on playing Catan, which is a game my kids got me addicted to, which is like chess and Monopoly combined. It's an old game. It's called Catan. So, yeah.
I did want to just give you an opportunity. Neil, what else would you like us to know about you? Aside from how to contact you, is there any other parts of your business we didn't review that you think it's important for people to know?
You know, it's funny because I have lawyers calling me a lot on processing death claims because companies aren't paying. Why aren't they paying? Because people are buying insurance policies off the internet from they don't know where. There's no agent involved. So I've done like 3 or 4 of those in the last year where I had one situation where a gentleman had bought an insurance policy as part of a divorce agreement so he could pay for his kid in college. $100,000. It was a small policy as far as policies go. And he had a brain aneurysm and died in 4 months. And the kid was in his 3rd year of college and still couldn't get the death claim and came to the lawyer. This was November last year. And I said, you're going to have your money by Christmas. And he did. And he was very thankful. And as I tell attorneys, I speak insurance, you speak legal. It's 2 different languages. I've also been hired as a professional witness last year to help out a forensic CPA and an attorney firm with a botched premium finance case, which was very egregious. Not everybody is wonderful in this industry or any industry. And they won the case, and it was several $1 million. The client was out, and he got some of his money, if not all of it, recovered. So I feel good about that.
Well, that's great.
Look, you're a professional in a field that needs to be navigated like any other profession. And the marketplace and industry nuances really matter. And when you're an expert, it's much easier to navigate. There's that expression, why do you pay me $1,000 an hour? Right? Because it'll
Right.
only take an hour.
Right. Well, it's interesting because there was another situation that occurred last year where one of the gentlemen had died and he had a policy, what they call a survivorship policy. And it was a $10 million policy at one time. And he put in $2 million, but he'd taken out $2 million. And the insurance company had lapsed it, but said, we'll give you $900,000 for it. They came to me and I did some research, and for the last 20 years, they haven't paid the dividends correctly. They shouldn't have lapsed it. And then in discovery process, we found out it was supposed to be in a trust, but it wasn't in a trust. It was his son and his ex-business partners also died, were the beneficiaries. So had this second woman died, they would have been left with $900,000 split with 2 people, completely taxable, because it wasn't in a trust. The other person was dead, and their estate would have had to been sued, but by law, they would have gotten half that money. The other children would have gotten nothing. And we got it fixed. They restored the death benefit to $3.2 million. We put it back in the trust, and the woman died. And the family got $3.2 million tax-free.
It's remarkable.
Can't make this up.
That's a great story.
That's a great story. How again, I'm sure some days are hard, but when you have outcomes like that, it makes it all worthwhile.
But the insurance company, I proved that they calculated dividends incorrectly for 20 years. And then they thought it was in a trust and it wasn't. So that was 2 things that saved that family quite a bit. And it all went to taxes anyhow, but otherwise they would have owed tremendous amount of money.
Sure. I know half a dozen more stories that are really great, but we don't have time for you to share them all. But I do hope you come back.
Thank you.
How
Thank
can
you for
folks
having me.
Yes, this was fun.
Thank you for having me. I'm writing a book basically right now, which I'm going to ask your help on. I think the title is It's About People.
Well, it is about people.
And I'm also contemplating doing another radio show called The Senior Show, just focusing on seniors, because I was thinking of doing that with a reverse mortgage gentleman. I don't know if you know him, Bobby Tollin. Do you know Bobby Tollin? No, I just met him. He's with Go Rascal. As a matter of fact, he's friends with a gentleman from ARP, Larazan. What's his last name?
Lafazan, Jeff.
Lafazan. Jeffrey, which I realize they know each other very well. And he's also involved with FPA, with another associate of yours, Bruce, that you know from the past.
Well, those are all really exciting things. Why don't you just share with folks your radio show, which is already up and running, and how they can listen in?
Sure. I'm on 103.9 FM. They can, which is in Suffolk County mostly. However, it does live stream on the internet, as well as I take past things. I put them on YouTube, and they're on Spotify and Apple, called the Main Street Code for Financial Success.
Wonderful. Neil, it was great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, my friend. Okay.
Thank you.
Stay well.